I'm Rod Sterling. You're listening to the Zero Hour.
Suspense. I'm the Whistler.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Who is it?
The Fat Man.
Presents The Man Called X.
The Mysterious Traveler.
Another journey into the realm of the strange and terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves. Where are we going? You'll find out when we get there.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Drama and Theater, brought to you by Duane Old Time Radio. Drama and Theater features some of the best programs from the golden age of radio, including Escape, The Fat Man, Suspense, The Whistler, Zero Hour, Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, and many, many more. Before we start today's drama, if you enjoy what I'm doing, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is 100% free, and you will receive notifications on new posts. Lastly, if you have a moment, write a short 1 or 2 sentence review or give a rating on your preferred podcast service. A positive review or rating would help me out a lot. And now, on to the drama. And thank you for your support, as always. This week we have Escape. 2 episodes from Escape. First one is titled The Fall of the House of Usher, the famous story by Edgar Allan Poe. It's the 11th episode from Escape, October 22nd, 1947. And then we have the H.G. Wells story, Pollack and the Porroh Man, the 12th episode, October 29th, 1947.
Are you upset with today's headlines? Worried about the high cost of living? Want to get away from it all?
CBS offers you Escape.
You are the friend of a man living in death, confidant of a ghoul, witness to a nameless terror. You are a guest in the House of Usher.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully plotted to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to a gloom-shrouded moor and a house where dread holds sway, as Edgar Allan Poe recounts it in his famous story, The Fall of the House of Usher.
It is with some regret, but I believe advisable that I identify myself only as a friend of Roderick Usher. Certainly the last and perhaps the only friend of that unhappy man. Having only one sister, he was the last male descendant of the ancient House of Usher. Roderick had been one of my boon companions in boyhood, but many years had elapsed now since our last meeting. And so as I held his letter in my hand, not yet opening it, I reflected with no little sadness upon the devious fates that chart our courses and drive old friends away from one another. But then a sudden feverish and nostalgic curiosity laid hold of me, and with fingers made clumsy by their eagerness, I tore open the letter and read,
My dear friend, my need of you has so far outgrown my pride But I'm going to request a favor which I realize full well may involve considerable inconvenience to yourself. For some time past, I have been suffering from an acute bodily illness. Illness intensified by serious mental oppression, if I may so call it. A horror which looms over me. A horror grown so great I dare no longer face it alone. And so, in all humility, and for the sake of years gone by, I beseech you to come to me at once, here to the family estate in the north. Should events conspire to prevent your coming, then only God may know the consequences. Your friend in desperation, Roderick Usher.
And so it happened that at the end of a dull, dark, and soundless day in the middle of October, I found myself as the shades of evening drew on, within view of the grim and melancholy House of Usher. I confess that the first sight of the house, the fungus-covered walls of stone thrusting their crumbling ramparts against the darkening sky, rising out of the sullen, sluggish waters of the black tarn at their base, the bleak and vacant windows staring blindly, the bone-white trunks of decaying trees, these things filled me with a nameless and desolate terror, so that I reined in my horse and sat trembling, half fearing to cross the wooden bridge that led over the waters of the moat and up to the entrance of the House of Usher. Then impatiently I shook off this strange feeling of dread, and was an instant later clattering over the wooden bridge and onto the courtyard. I dismounted quickly, tossed my reins to the silent lackey who approached, strode across the gravel and up to the massive wooden portal, the door of the House of Usher. Good afternoon. My name is...
I know. You're the friend of Master Roderick. Please come inside, sir.
Thank you. But may I inquire how it happens you know me?
You have been expected for some time, sir.
Yes, true. But also I'm a stranger to you and could be some other visitor.
That you could be anyone other than the friend whom Master Roderick expects, sir, would be impossible. You see, no one else would ever come to this house.
Then I followed his stealthy footsteps through many dark and intricate passages. My earlier foreboding heightened and was made fearful by the somber aspect of the hallways by which we passed. The many unused rooms reaching out with their vast emptiness like some hideous jungle creeper. But at length we stood before the door of the master's studio, and there the servant left me, departed and left me to go in alone. The man across the room, half reclining on the couch, his back turned toward me, did not hear the opening of the door. For the space of several heartbeats, I saw only the deathly pale and ghastly sunken features of a stranger. Then only with difficulty could I recognize, behind that mask, my boyhood friend. For surely, under light of heaven, no man had ever before so terribly altered in so brief a time as had Roderick Usher.
Oh, my friend, you've come at last. Thank God you did come.
Oh, Roderick, did you not know I would? Could you not be sure that no long years would ever dim the friendship we shared in youth?
So many things have dimmed. Youth. It seems so long ago. But now you're here, and we'll find it, relive it all over again, every glorious moment of it. And all these shadows, all these gibbering phantoms that haunt me, they'll be driven out. And then the sun will shine again, and we'll be young again and relive...
Roderick!
Oh, but forgive me, my friend. My excessive joy at the sight of you after so many years drives me into a frenzy of talk. How many years has it? Oh, no matter. It is enough that you are here, and brought with you all the lost, all the happy days of my boyhood.
But I'd expected from your letter to find you in serious straits indeed. Instead, you seem in the best of spirits.
You have the right to know. But in all frankness, here in your presence, I find it difficult to credit importance to those things which only yesterday filled me with terror. True, I've been ill. A nervous affliction, something in the nature of a family weakness, probably. It has affected me with a morbid acuteness of the senses, such that quite often the least sounds and odors and colors become irritating beyond endurance. Then I've eaten but little, as you can see.
But surely you've retained the services of a physician.
A physician? Oh, yes, of course. He calls almost daily, though it is more often Madeleine that he attends. You remember my twin sister, Madeleine? For her, I fear more greatly than for myself. Even today, she's taken to her bed, and I have no doubt will never rise from it again.
Oh, a tragedy. The sympathies of my heart go out to you.
Oh, but leave it for the present. Leave it to dream of all those happy days we left so far behind. Everything will be different now that you're here. Do you remember when we were 12?
But the happy forgetfulness which Roderick found in my coming was short-lived, and in a few days he had sunk into a morose torpor, from which only occasionally with frantic difficulty could he reach the joy of our first few hours of meeting. More often, his mental apathy was broken by bursts of vicious temper and violent ill humor, fits I could only excuse on the basis of his illness. And that illness began in my mind to assume a most mysterious character. Being unable to divine its true nature from Roderick's hesitant offerings, I took the liberty of questioning the physician a few days later when I chanced to encounter him in a hallway.
Yes, she's resting as well as might be expected.
But she continues to decline. Is that not correct, Doctor?
That would seem to be the case.
And the malady, the illness which has stricken her, is it the same as that which affects her brother Roderick?
I may venture that it is.
Might I inquire the nature of this illness?
As to that, I am unable to say.
You imply, then, that I have no right to the information?
Not at all. I am confessing to you quite simply, sir. I do not know what afflicts Madeleine and Roderick Usher.
And so a week passed. A week in which the sullen, leaden skies darkened into deeper oppressiveness, in which Roderick's deathly pallor and creeping mental dissolution grew more apparent. A week in which the monstrous atmosphere of this ancient mausoleum began to crawl insidiously within my own consciousness, stirring into life a formless, unknown dread. Then one evening, we were sitting in the vaulted studio, while the first shadows of night began to flow together into pools of darkness. Roderick had been unusually troubled during the day and had been trying to find some solace by playing on the violin. Of a sudden, there came a knock upon the door.
Stop it! Stop that infernal pounding, do you hear? Do you wish to drive me completely mad? Open the door and come in, come in!
It's the doctor.
Well, what is it? What do you want?
Master Usher, I regret that I must say this, but it is my sad duty to inform you that your sister Madeleine is no longer living.
Madeleine? My sister? Then she's dead?
She breathes no more.
Dead? And perhaps, my dear doctor, you can tell me what caused her death.
Unfortunately, I can only take refuge in the term heart failure.
Heart failure? Yes, of course. Very well, Doctor. If you'll be kind enough to wait, I'll come down directly and discuss the arrangement.
At your service. I bid you good afternoon, gentlemen.
Roderick, I assure you of my deepest sympathy.
You do. Your deepest sympathy. The doctor regrets his sad duty. Are you fools, both of you fools?
I don't understand.
Haven't you seen it yet? Can you not feel it about you? The horrid, monstrous, brooding spirit of this accursed house. Can't you hear its evil laughter as it lurks in the hallways and grows fat upon the soul? My dead sister.
Roderick.
Can't you see that it matters nothing to me that she's dead? That I myself walk but a few steps behind her into the same shadows of hell? Can't you sense those hideous tentacles even now reaching out for me? For me, who now the last living, if it be living, the last living descendant of the accursed House of Usher.
Such was the passing of Madeleine Usher, once living, now dead. And her very death, untimely in its aspects, bore to my trembling soul a portent of events yet more hideous, more horrible, and yet to come. At a later hour of that same sad night, Roderick came into my chamber to voice an intention so morbidly unnatural that for the moment I could only feel that his tottering reason had at last failed him entirely.
Then you refuse?
But Roderick, this is madness.
I tell you, before this night is over, the coffin body of my sister shall rest in the vault beneath this house, and if you will not help me, I shall do it myself.
But why? Why?
I could not stand to think of her buried out there in the dark graveyard, alone among the dead.
Roderick, she too is dead.
It's fantastic how little we know of death or of life. The doctor says she no longer breathes.
She is dead.
She was so lovely, was my sister.
Roderick.
I must keep Madeleine near me.
Nothing but evil would come of such an act.
I can trust no one but you. Not even the physician himself. He hates us because he can't discover what it is that kills us. Even he might steal the body of my beloved sister, that he might learn our secret. You understand, don't you, my friend?
Yes, Roderick. Yes, I understand. And so it came about. Near midnight, we two alone made our way to an upper chamber of the house. And taking up the black coffin between us, in the shuddering light of candles, we walked the tortuous passageways, slowly descended the curving stairs of stone, passed beneath the moldy level of the earth, forced open a massive and age-rusted door of iron, and stood at last, with our ghastly burden, in a subterranean, dank and musty crypt, underneath the House of Usher.
Over here, my friend, on these trestles. Now, a trifle higher with the head. There. Oh, may you sleep in peace and dream, sweet sister. From I who tread the same path soft behind you.
Come, Roderick. The thing is done.
Oh, wait. Stay a moment. We've not yet affixed the coffin lid. See? I've left it loose so it can be turned back.
No, I beg you.
A last farewell, no more. Look. Is she not beautiful?
Yes, she was very beautiful.
Was? Yes, of course. The look of her confused me. But do you not see it, too? The warm glow of the cheeks, the eyes shut softly, those lips half parted. Does it not seem that she may rise up and speak to us at any moment?
This gruesome place inspires those morbid fancies.
Morbid fancies? That now dead she seems to live, and living seems already dead?
Man, you seek out madness. You court it with your very thoughts.
And if I do, what matters? What value can there be in reason without the hope of life? Dead, you say to me, she is dead. But what certainty? Why not with equal reason say instead she lives? And that I, the last of Usher, am the one who is already dead.
I prevailed upon my friend at last to leave that mournful place. And so with grim finality we secured the ebon lid, took up our flickering candles, and departed from the crypt, leaving it alone with its darkness and death. The ponderous portal closed behind us, and then my soul for one brief instant felt the dread and awful meaning of eternity. There followed then a week of such dreary gloom and melancholy that my own spirit quavered at the menace of the nameless thing enshadowed in that house. By perceptible degrees, the living soul of Roderick Usher flickered lower. More ghastly grew his pallor, more tremulous the extremity of his terror. The 8th day following the death of Lady Madeleine fell upon the last day of grim and gray October, and brought with it, as the curtains of night descended, the fitful breath of a rising tempest, uneasy gusts of sodden rain, and the sound of sullen thunderous rumbles born of the dim flares of sheet lightning somewhere behind the lowering pall. I retired at a late hour, but found sleep impossible. At length, overpowered by some strange presentiment of evil, I found my reposeful inaction no longer endurable. And so I arose, threw on my clothes in haste, and fell to pacing the floor of my darkened chamber. Then in one instant, a soft sound in the blackness froze my steps in paralysis of terror. The latch of my chamber door was being lifted from without. Who is it? Who is it, I say?
It is I, Roderick.
Oh, Roderick. What are you doing up and about at this hour, in pitch blackness? Wait, let me light the candles.
No, I am quite used to darkness. I heard your footsteps and knew that you must be awake, even as I was. But can it be that you've not seen it?
I don't understand you. I've seen nothing.
Then stay. You shall see it, even as I've seen it for these past 2 hours. Wait. I'll throw open the casement window. There. Look!
It was indeed a tempestuous yet sternly beautiful night, and one wildly singular in its terror and in its beauty. The exceeding density of the clouds which hung so low as to press upon the turrets of the house did not prevent our perceiving the velocity with which they flew careening from all points against one another. We had no glimpse of the moon or stars, but terrible to behold, the undersurfaces of the huge cloud masses, as well as all terrestrial objects immediately around us, were glowing in the unnatural light of a faintly luminous and clearly visible phosphorescence, which hung like a shroud about the mansion itself.
You see, my friend, tonight the thing grows bolder, gathers strength from the storm and from the dead soul it's eaten.
No, Roderick, you must not look at this. Here, I shall close this window and pull these curtains. And now, candlelight. Such darkness is the very mother of evil fear. There. Now come, sit here. Suppose I read aloud from some book or another.
As you wish.
I presume it matters little which. Oh, here. Here is a volume of The Mad Tryst by Canning. Will it serve?
As you said, it matters little.
I've always found the scene to be quite entertaining, wherein Ethelred dreams of fighting a dragon. Now, let's see. Oh, yes. Here it is. And so Ethelred waited no longer to hold parley with the hermit who mocked him from inside the hut, but feeling the rain upon his back and fearing the rising of the tempest, uplifted his axe and quickly made a hole in the plankings of the door for his gauntleted hand. And now, pulling sturdily, he so cracked and ripped all asunder that the noise of the dry and hollow-sounding wood alarmed and reverberated throughout the forest.
Why do you stop?
Why, that's strange. I fancied I just heard the very sound I read about.
Let us say it was caused by the storm. Pray continue.
Oh, yes, the storm. Of course. But Ethelred, upon entering the door, was amazed to perceive no sign of the evil hermit, but instead a dragon of prodigious and scaly demeanor, which sat on guard before a shield of shining brass. And Ethelred uplifted his axe and struck the head of the dragon, which fell before him with a shriek so horrid and harsh, like whereof was never before. What sound is that?
Sound? The shriek of a dragon, my friend. Read on.
Very well. And now the champion, bethinking himself of the shield of brass, approached across the silver floor to where the shield hung upon the wall. But the shield, not waiting for his coming, loosed and fell upon the silver floor with a mighty great... And, Roderick, I tell you something moves within this house. That sound, it reverberated through the very walls. Can you tell me now you did not hear it?
Hear it now? Oh, yes, I hear it and have heard it. Long moments, hours, many days have I heard it. Yet I dared not speak.
But why?
Do you not know we put her living in the tomb? I tell you now, I heard her first feeble movements in the coffin many, many days ago, and I felt then it mattered little. But now she comes to upbraid me for my haste. And that last dread sound, yes, I heard it, the opening of the metal door to the crypt beneath the house. Now she comes here. Have I not heard her footsteps on the stair? Do I not distinguish the heavy and horrible beating of her heart? Madman that I am, I tell you that she now stands without that door. But even now she opens it.
There, in the flickering light of candles, in the gloom and curtained doorway, stood the shrouded body of Lady Madeleine. For one shuddering instant she swayed there. Then, as Roderick uttered a single piteous cry, she fell upon him in violent and now final death agonies, and bore him to the floor, a corpse. From that chamber and from that mansion, I fled aghast out the massive portal over the causeway into the night. Suddenly there shot along the path a wild light, and I looked back in heightened terror, for the vast house and its shadows were alone behind me. The baleful gleam came from the setting full and blood-red moon,
light which now shone vividly through a widening crack in the walls of the house itself, and even as I gazed, its fissure opened rapidly. There came a fierce breath of the tempest. The entire lunar orb burst at once upon my sight. My brain reeled as I saw the mighty walls rushing asunder. There came a long, tumultuous, shouting sound like the voice of 1,000 waters.
And the dark, deep tarn at my feet closed sullenly and silently forever over the pitiful ruins of the ancient House of Usher.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with Paul Frees as the narrator, Ramsey Hill as Roderick Usher, and Sheridan Hall as the physician. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Fuhrer. Next week...
You are the victim of a Porroh Man, pursued from the west coast of Africa to the west end of London by a dead man's head, which grins at you upside down.
Next week, Escape, with H.G. Wells' gripping story, Pollack and the Porroh Man. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when CBS again offers you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
About the United Nations? Anxious about those bills piling up? Want to get away from it all?
CBS offers you Escape.
You are the victim of a native witch doctor, pursued from the west coast of Africa to the west end of London by the grinning face of a dead man. You are under the curse of a Porroh Man.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully plotted to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to the dark lowlands of West Africa and the mind of a man who scoffed at native magic, as H.G. Wells paints it in his gripping story, Pollack and the Porroh Man.
I had spent considerable time in Africa, but I have given little credence to the many superstitions of the natives there. Voodoo curses, weird incantations of witch doctors, and the like had always seemed a pretty silly business to me. But that was before the affair of Pollack and the Porroh Man. Even then, while the thing was happening, I took little notice. It was only when I got back to England some months later and went to see Pollack climbing up the 3 flights of stairs to his lonely bedroom that I began to realize the ghastly truth of it. One look at him was enough. I had never before seen a man so unnaturally wasted, so prematurely aged and broken, so eerily mad as this man lying on the bed and looking up at me with haggard eyes.
It was good of you to come, Waterhouse.
Nonsense, old chap. I just thought I'd look you up and say hello. But I had no idea I would find you ill.
Ill? Yes, I suppose I am ill. I suppose that's what you'd call it.
But what in heaven's name is the matter, Pollack?
I say, come closer, will you? I can barely see you.
Why, yes, of course. I'll just drop a chair.
Oh, no, no.
Pollack, man, what's the matter?
Oh, no. Take it away. Take it away.
What are you talking about? What is it, man?
That thing in your hand. Take it away, please, for heaven's sake. Take it away.
In my hand? But Pollack, this is only my hat.
Your hat?
Why, yes, of course. Just an ordinary black Homburg. Now, if its style is offensive to you...
No. I just put it on the table, the floor. Somewhere where I can't see it, please.
Well, of course, old man.
Yes, I suppose you think I'm mad.
Now, don't be.
I know you do. Everybody does. Because I'm used to it now. And the worst of it is, perhaps I am.
I say, Pollack.
Only I don't think so. Because I do see it. I don't care if no one else does. I can see it.
See what?
The head. That hideous face following me everywhere, grinning at me. And always upside down.
Pollack, what are you talking about?
You don't believe me either. Well, look at my wrist. It's broken. The bandage is still on it. That's real enough, isn't it?
Well, yes, of course. Broken, you say?
Yes. It did that. And my other accident, when I first got back to England, they said I walked in front of a bus, but I know better. It did that, too.
A head?
Exactly. You wouldn't expect to see a man's head come rolling down the middle of a busy street in London, now, would you?
Now, Pollack, you'd better lie back, rest a bit. I'll call a doctor.
Oh, you too. And I thought you might understand. After all, you were with me when it started. It was you who first warned me, who sent me home.
You don't mean that business with the Porroh Man?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. You remember how it started? We were camped at that little village on the lagoon behind the Turner Peninsula. It was swampy and hot, and I was bored to tears. Maybe that's why I did it. But anyway, when I got back, you were furious with me.
No, you're a fool, Pollack. You've got to take it back immediately, do you hear?
Oh, what possible difference could it make, Waterhouse? Why all this fuss, old boy? It's only a little wooden statue. Can't be worth anything except for a curio.
You're not that stupid, Pollack. You know very well this is a Porrah idol. You must have stolen it from the hut of a witch doctor.
Well, and what of it?
Don't you see? To them, this is sacred. As sacred as an altar cross to a Christian. You've not only committed a crime in their eyes, but a terrible sacrilege as well.
Oh, don't tell me they're going to sick their painted gods on me. Oh, I should be frightened to death.
Before they can do anything, you're going to take this back where you found it and apologize to the Porroh Man.
Apologize to an illiterate black witch man? Are you crazy?
Pollack, I've had about as much of you as I can stand. You're one of those infernal fools who think a black man isn't a human being. I can't turn my back, but you're running crossways to them, getting you some scrape or other. The third time this month, and this time it's serious.
Are you telling me you're going to send me home?
I honestly think it would be best.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm all for it. I'd be very happy to get out of this sticky, dirty, godforsaken place.
Very well. But before you go, Pollack, for the good of the expedition, you've got to take that thing back and apologize.
Oh, I don't think I'd better.
Why not?
Well, to tell the truth, I don't think they'd give me a chance to apologize.
All right. Tell me, what happened?
Oh, nothing very much, except... Well, as I was carrying the thing away, one of those chaps popped up and saw it. Started yelling, trying to take it from me.
Yes, go on.
Well, we had a bit of a tussle. I got away.
Go on, Pollack.
We were on the bank of the river, and I toppled him over, that's all.
He fell into the river?
Yes, I think he may have hit the rocks first.
Was he badly hurt?
I don't know. I didn't stop to find out.
He was dead, wasn't he?
I really don't know.
Oh, you fool.
Oh, it was an accident. I had no
An
intention.
accident, a lot they care. It was bad enough with the idol, but you've probably killed a man. We're in for it now.
Well, there's nothing to be frightened about.
Nothing. In the first place, I should think even your conscience would suffer a little. The second, you don't seem to understand about this Porrah business. It rules the country. It's the law, religion, medicine, everything. And these Porrah are the most vindictive men on earth. The one whose idol you stole and whose follower you killed will be duty-bound to do something about it. And there's no telling what he will do.
Oh, come now. You don't believe in these voodoo curses and things?
Of course not. I'm thinking of something much more real than that.
I mean, he might try something rough.
I can only advise you to lie low until we can get you out of here in the morning. I'll take you as far as Sulima and see you safe aboard a steamer.
You needn't. I can go alone from here.
Not far. You still don't understand this business. You wouldn't get a quarter of a mile from this camp alone.
I still thought you were making a mountain out of a molehill, Waterhouse. But I must admit, I didn't sleep much that night. I lay there on the mat in my hut and listened to the sounds of the village. And then later to the noises of the night-wakening jungle. Sometime after midnight, I must have dozed off because I awoke with a start. For a moment, I was confused, but I sensed something wrong. And then, framed against the moonlight square of the door, I saw a hand upraised, and in it, a knife.
Stop it! Stop or I'll shoot! Stop, you devil, you! Pollack, what is it? What happened?
I missed the beggar, Waterhouse. I missed him.
Who missed who? What happened?
The Porroh Man. Waterhouse, he was in my hut. He had a knife. He tried to kill me.
Now, wait a minute. Wait till I find a light. There. Are you all right, man?
Oh, I'm all right. I just saw it in time. I rode aside and... Look.
Eh?
In my bed. The knife.
Oh, that was a narrow one. Well, perhaps now you understand the seriousness of this.
Waterhouse, I saw his face. He stopped just at the door for a second. He was crouched down and he looked back at me from under his arm. His face was etched clearly in the moonlight. It was upside down. I'll never forget it.
I'll get you a drink.
Listen, Waterhouse, listen. He glared back at me with his painted face upside down and streaked with those hideous scars they cut in their cheeks. See that in my dreams.
Steady on, old man. Here you are. Drink this.
All right. Waterhouse. The idol's gone. I've just noticed the idol's gone. He took it. It's gone.
Yes.
Well, then it's all over. He got what he wants. He won't bother me again, will he?
I'm afraid there's more to it than that.
But he's got the blasted idol back, and he won't try it again. Oh, will he?
I've just noticed something too, Pollack. There's something here on the floor. One of your shots clipped off the tip of his little finger. It's too bad you aren't a better shot.
Why? Why'd you say that?
Because I'm afraid we haven't seen the last of this business yet.
You were more right than you knew, Waterhouse. The next morning was only the beginning. We were standing by the river and supervising packing.
I'm glad we're getting out of here. There's something brewing, or things wouldn't be so quiet.
Oh, what would be brewing?
A stink in a copper pot, probably. Dancing in a circle of skulls, putting curses on you.
Oh, that. What can he do?
How the devil should I know? They're versatile people. They know a lot of rum dodges. The best thing to do... Look out! Oh, man, that was close.
What was it?
One of their beastly poisoned arrows in the tree behind you. Missed your head by inches.
No.
It came from over there in the bush.
Well, let's do something. Let's chase him something.
No use now. Never find him in there. Best thing for us to do is to get out of here quick.
Well, we got out all right. You remember how we went down the river, keeping as far from the banks as possible? You thought I was safe when you got me to Salima and said goodbye, didn't you, Waterhouse? So did I. You said goodbye and went back to the interior. Nothing happened for 2 days, and I was beginning to feel that the whole thing was just a nasty dream. And then as I was walking in the compound, I was hit in the arm with a slug. It was a long shot, bullet was spent. I only got a flesh wound. But I knew he was there. And I decided to confide in Porrah, the little Portuguese who had rented me a hut in his compound. He took it seriously.
It is a personal question, you know. It's revenge, see? And he must hurry because you will leave the country.
Yes, I'll be on the boat to Freetown in 3 more days. Then I'll be rid of him forever.
Perhaps. Then there's this magic. Of course, I don't believe in it. Superstition. But still, it's not nice to think that wherever you are, there's a black man spends a moonlight night, sometimes dancing around a fire to send you bad dreams. You have any bad dreams?
Well, there. Keep seeing the beggar's head upside down, grinning at me, showing all his teeth the way he did in the hut. Now, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's not pleasant either.
Then they say Porroh Men send snakes. You seen any snakes lately?
Well, only one. I killed one this morning on the floor under my hammock. Almost stepped on him when I got up.
Of course, it is coincidence. Still, I would keep eyes open. Then there is the pains in the legs and arms.
I thought they were caused by miasma.
Probably they are. When did they begin?
Why, 3 nights ago, the night... Oh, blast it, it's nonsense. If I could just meet this devil face to face, with a gun in my hand...
You might shoot him. But then he might shoot you. I think he do not want to kill you. Anyway, not yet. Their idea is scare and worry a man with their spells and narrow misses and pains and bad dreams and all that until he's sick of life. Of course, it's all talk, see? You must not worry about it.
No, of course not.
But I wonder what he'll be up to next.
Perhaps it is I who shall be up to something.
What do you mean?
Never mind. But I'm not one to just sit and take this. That very afternoon, I had a conversation with a roughneck Mendai tribesman I found there in Salima. He showed me a little iron dagger and demonstrated how one struck at the back of the neck. He agreed to do the job for the price of a double-barreled gun with an ornamental lock. I went back to Porrah's, feeling better than I had in days. That night, the Portuguese and I were sitting in his living room playing cards, when suddenly the Mendai rough strode in without so much as a knock.
Who is it? What do you want?
Oh, it's you.
Have done what you tell me. Have proof.
What is it you have in the package? Is that blood dripping?
Proof. Here.
His head. Oh, no.
This man you want. Now I get gone.
You didn't have to bring this. I didn't ask for such proof.
You mean, Senor Pollack, you got him killed? You did not kill him yourself?
Why should I?
But he will not be able to take it off now.
What do you mean, take it off?
Look at the cards. They are all spoiled with this blood.
What do you mean, take what off?
You must send me a new pack from Freetown. You can buy them there.
Take what off?
It is only a superstition, I forgot. The natives say if the witch... he was a witch. But it is all rubbish.
Go on.
Well, they say you must make the Porroh Man take the curse off or kill him yourself. It is very silly.
Gun. No. Yes.
I'll make it 2 guns if you'll take that beastly thing away.
No. 1 gun. No.
All right. Porrah, that gun you have for sale, give it to him. I have the money right here.
Yes. Over here. Now, take it and go.
Thanks.
It is funny how the head sits upside down.
Just the way I saw him that night. Just the way I see him in my dreams.
Like it was weighted that way. You will take him with you when you go. Maybe take him now. My cards are all spoiled. There is a man sells them in Freetown. You should have killed him yourself.
Stop it! took the thing to my hut. And no matter what I did, it always came to rest upside down and glaring at me. I got a shovel. I buried it in the soft earth behind the hut. But in the middle of the night, I was awakened by some sound in my room.
Oh, what is it? Who's there? Speak up or I'll shoot.
Oh, a dog. Only a dog. Yes, it's only a dog. But in the morning, when I awoke and started to get out of bed, there it was, in the center of the floor, glaring at me upside down. It was uncanny until I remembered the dog. I found his paw prints in the dug-up earth outside, and I knew how it got there. I took the thing down to the river. I threw it as far as I could into the current. At last I'd be rid of it. That morning, I killed 2 snakes. But late in the afternoon, the little steamer arrived that would take me away from this insane land of the Porroh and Freetown and civilization. I had almost begun to feel gay as that boat carried me swiftly away from the shores of the Porroh land. At last I would be free, and soon I'd be back where Porroh and curses and nightmares would be forgotten. I was standing at the rail, sighing with relief, when the captain of the steamer, whom I'd met before, strolled up and began to make conversation. After the usual exchange of pleasantries, he said,
I picked up a rum curio on the beach this go. It's a thing I never saw done this side of India before.
Why is that so?
The head of one of these Porroh chaps, all ornamented with knife cuts. I say, what's the matter, old chap? You're green in the face. I wouldn't have took you for a bad sailor.
Oh, I'm quite all right.
Well, this head I was telling you about is a bit queer in a way. I've got it in a jar of spirits in my cabin, and I'm hanged if it don't float upside down.
What?
Here I say, old chap, what's the matter? Stuart!
That was the last straw, I suppose. Something seemed to snap in my brain. And for the rest of the voyage, I lay there in the bunk, staring at the ceiling. And I had the strange sensation that the boat was made of glass, transparent, and that I could see up through the ceiling into the captain's cabin, see the Porroh Man's face floating in a jar of alcohol upside down, grinning at me. I suppose the actual head is still in the captain's cabin in Freetown, but it didn't matter. The Porroh Man's work had been done by then, because now I carried it with me everywhere, in my brain. I saw it everywhere, anywhere. Any object that was round, like a hat or a pillar or a vase, suddenly developed features when I looked at it. Ugly, scarred features with a grinning, mocking mouth. Features turned upside down. When I docked in London, I went straight to my banker's office in Cornhill.
And the security is all in order, Mr. Pollack. You shall have to watch things, of course, but all in all, you shall have enough to live quite comfortably and to enjoy a reasonable amount of freedom. Then, too... I say, Pollack, what are you staring at so fixedly?
That thing, hanging from your mantelpiece.
Oh, yes, I see. The potted fern. Rather pretty one, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes, very pretty.
I must do something about it, though. It's always dripping water down on the fender of the fireplace. Makes it rusty.
I was wondering about that. It looks red, almost like blood.
Rust, you know.
Yes. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Can you recommend a physician for mental troubles? I've got a little, what do you call it? Hallucination. The Porroh Man grinned at me fiendishly, and I stared back at him. The banker watched me very curiously for a moment, and then he gave me the address of a doctor, and I left his office. That's when my accident happened. To a man who's been many months in the jungle of busy London streets, confusing enough. But when a head comes rolling down the middle of the street and between your legs... No! I was in the hospital for weeks. The only permanent injury, however, was the loss of the tip of my little finger. By strange coincidence, the same fingertip of the left hand that I'd shot off the Porroh Man that first night. Well, even in the hospital, the Porroh Man was with me all the time, everywhere. The doctors couldn't help me. My friends couldn't either. So I tried cycling in the country. But that thing kept rolling along beside me and getting tangled up in the wheels and spilling me. That's how I got the broken wrist. Well, the worst came only last week. I'd just come back from a long walk, hoping to be tired enough to go to sleep. And as usual, that bronze vase was over there in front of the big French window. And it... well, perhaps the Porroh Man enjoys the view of the street 3 floors below. Anyway, this night, I felt a little devil-may-care, so I turned round to it and I looked him in the eye and I said, "So, you're still here, are you, my ugly shadow?"
Yes, Pollack. I'm still here.
What did you say?
I said I'm still here. And I always will be.
No, not that too, not that, no. No! So, now you understand, Waterhouse? I not only see the Porroh Man, I hear him, too.
Pollack, old chap, this is frightful.
Oh, it is rather, isn't it?
I mean, you are ill, man, very ill. Now, surely there's something someone can do, some doctor.
What can any doctor do? Can he take off the Porroh Man's curse?
Now, Pollack, that's nonsense. And you know it.
Oh, is it?
Of course, man. It's all in your mind. All, what do they call it? Suggestion. The power of suggestion is strong. You're impressionable. You've let these stories prey on your mind. You've got to snap out of it.
Oh, I should have killed him myself.
Pollack.
I'd do it, too, with my bare hands, if only I had the chance.
Man, you're talking rot.
Look at him there. Look at him grinning at me.
Pollack, that's only a bronze vase.
Always grinning at me, more and more fiendishly every day. Stop it, you devil, stop it, you hear?
Pollack, calm yourself. Lie back. Rest.
Rest. Yes. That's what I need.
If I'd only known, I'd never have left you there in Sulima alone. All this might have been prevented.
Oh, might it? Listen, Waterhouse. When you came in, I was just lying here thinking. I see him. I hear him. My sense of sight and of hearing is affected. And someday, my sense of touch will go, too. When it does, I know that will be the end. I'll be finished. And the Porroh Man will finally have his revenge. Won't he?
Pollack, old man.
When you came in, I was lying here, trying to get up the nerve to walk over there and make the test. And I'm going to do it.
No, I won't let you.
You can't stop me, Waterhouse. Don't you see? I've got to. I can't go on like this. I've got to know. Have it over with.
No, Pollack.
It's beyond anything you can do. Stand aside. But stand aside, please. Now.
Come back to bed, Pollack. That window is open. If you have a fever...
Never mind. This is just an ordinary bronze vase. Isn't it, Waterhouse?
Pollack, don't do it.
I know it's only a bronze vase. I know that when I will feel only cold metal when I reach out and touch it. I know. Like this.
Oh, no! Pollack, look out! That window! You're backing into that window! Pollack!
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you Pollack and the Porroh Man by H.G. Wells, adapted for radio by John Dunkel, with Barton Yarborough as Pollack, Louis Van Ruten as Waterhouse, and Bill Conrad as Porrah. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Next week...
You are groping through the darkened corridors of a gigantic department store in the dead of night. And suddenly you realize you're not alone. That 100 eyes are glaring at you from the shadows. 100 hands reaching for your throat.
Next week, Escape with John Collier's eerie story, Evening Primrose. Good night, then, until this same time next week when CBS again offers you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thank you for listening to and showing your support for my podcast. If you would like to receive notifications of when new episodes are posted, please subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions are 100% free, and they really help me get an idea of how I'm doing. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, wish you well, and as always, peace.